Manchester City has had many outstanding players over the years, but we're going to focus on the ones that had the most impact during their most successful seasons. From skilled attackers to rock-solid defenders, these players contributed to some great moments on the pitch. So, without further ado, let's get started. Manchester City has been a dominant force in the English Premier League in recent years, winning the title 4 times in the last decade. But how did this success come about? It all comes down to the squad's players. Manchester City has put together a roster of world-class players, and each player offers something special to the table. The club has seen its fair share of great players, from legends like Colin Bell to modern-day heroes like Sergio Aguero and Vincent Kompany. The club began in 1880 as St. Mark's West Gorton and changed its name to Ardwick Association Football Club in 1887. The team was renamed Manchester City in 1894 and relocated to its current home stadium, the Etihad Stadium, in 2003. Throughout its history, Manchester City has had both highs and lows. However, in recent years, they have emerged as one of the most powerful powers in English football. They have 7 Premier League titles, 6 FA Cups, and 8 League Cups to their name. They also won the UEFA Champions League once, in the season 2020 to 2021. Now let's have a detailed analysis of the top 10 greatest players of Manchester City. 10. Yaya Toure. Yaya Toure is largely recognized as one of the finest Manchester City players of all time. Toure led Manchester City to 3 Premier League titles in 2011-12, 2013-14, and 2017-18. In addition to the FA Cup in 2011, he also won the League Cup in 2014, 2016, and 2018. He was selected Manchester City's Player of the Year in 2013-14, as well as African Footballer of the Year 4 years in a row from 2011 to 2014. Toure appeared in 316 Premier League games for Manchester City, scoring 79 goals and supplying 47 assists. Toure scored an astonishing 20 goals in all competitions during the 2013-14 season, including key goals in the League Cup and Premier League. 9. Eric Brook. Eric Brook was a great Manchester City footballer who played in the 1930s and 1940s. Brook holds the record for the most goals scored by a Manchester City player in a single season. In the 1927-28 season, he set a record with 78 goals, which still remains today. Brook scored in the final against Portsmouth to help Manchester City win the FA Cup in 1934. In 1933 and 1937, he also helped the team reach the final. Brook had a big impact on Manchester City. Brook scored 178 goals in 493 appearances for Manchester City, ranking him second all-time in the club's history. He set a record with 17 hat-tricks for Manchester City, which still holds today. Brook's most notable moment was scoring the opening goal in the 1934 FA Cup final against Portsmouth, with a spectacular 25-yard effort. Manchester City won the game 2-1, and lifted the trophy for the first time in their history. 8. Mike Doyle. Mike Doyle was a great Manchester City player who played in the 1960s and 1970s. During his time at the club, both as a player and later as a coach, he made a considerable impact. Doyle was instrumental in Manchester City winning the First Division title in 1967-68 and the FA Cup in 1969. Doyle appeared in nearly 500 games for Manchester City, scoring 40 goals. He was well known for his disciplinary record, having been sent off more times than any other Manchester City player in history, totaling 12 red cards. Doyle's most noteworthy moment was scoring the opening goal in the 1969 FA Cup final against Leicester City with a header from a corner. Manchester City went on to win the game 1-0 and take home the trophy. After retiring from playing, he became a coach at Manchester City, where he was instrumental in training the club's next generation of players. 7. Kevin De Bruyne. Kevin De Bruyne is a Belgian midfielder who has become one of Manchester City's most significant players since joining the club in 2015. Since joining Manchester City, De Bruyne has helped the team win 4 Premier League titles, 2 FA Cups, and 5 League Cups. In the 2019-2020 season, he was voted Premier League Player of the Season, and he has also been named to the PFA Team of the Year 3 times. In 274 games for Manchester City, De Bruyne has 69 goals and 107 assists. With 20 assists in the 2019-2020 Premier League season, He holds the record for most assists in a single Premier League season. 6. Vincent Kompany. He joined the club in 2008 and played for 11 seasons, 8 of which he was captain. During his career with Manchester City, Kompany captained the team to 4 Premier League titles, 2 FA Cups, and 4 League Cups. He was named to the PFA Team of the Year 4 times and was crowned Premier League Player of the Season in 2011. 2-0-1-2. Kompany appeared in 360 games for Manchester City, scoring 20 goals. 5. Colin Bell. Colin Bell was a Manchester City midfielder who played in the 1960s and 1970s. During his time with Manchester City, Colin Bell won 4 major trophies, including the First Division title in 1968, the FA Cup in 1969, and the League Cup in 1970 and 1976. In 1968, 1970, and 1971, he was selected Manchester City's Player of the Year 3 times. Colin Bell appeared in almost 380 games for Manchester City, scoring 152 goals. He was the club's leading scorer in 1970-71, with 17 goals in all competitions. 4. Fernandinho. He has been with the team since 2013 and has been instrumental in their success in the Premier League and other competitions. With Manchester City, Fernandinho has 4 Premier League titles, 6 League Cups, and 1 FA Cup. In the 2019-20 season, he was named Manchester City's Player of the Year. Fernandinho has appeared in almost 350 games for Manchester City, scoring 24 goals and assisting on 28 others. 3. Bert Trautmann. He was a German player most remembered for his stint with Manchester City in the 1950s and early 1960s. He was the first German to play in an FA Cup final, which he did in 1956 for Manchester City. He appeared in nearly 500 matches for Manchester City, winning the FA Cup in 1956 and the First Division title in 1968. In 1956, he was also elected Football Writers Association Footballer of the Year. 2. David Silva. David Silva is a former Manchester City offensive midfielder who played for the club from 2010 until 2020. He is largely recognized as one of the club's best players in its history. David Silva won 14 major trophies during his time at Manchester City, including 4 Premier League crowns, 2 FA Cups, and 5 League Cups. He was selected Manchester City's Player of the Year 3 times, in 2011, 2012, and 2017. David Silva appeared in nearly 400 games for Manchester City, scoring 77 goals and assisting on 93 others. With 15 and 11 assists, he was the club's leading assist provider in 2011-12 and 2016-17. Silva's most notable Manchester City moment occurred in the final game of the 2011-12 season, when he assisted Sergio Aguero's famous last-minute winner against Queen's Park Rangers to capture the club's first Premier League title. 1. Sergio Aguero. Aguero is without a doubt one of the greatest players to ever play for Manchester City. Sergio Aguero was a Manchester City midfielder who won 5 Premier League titles, 1 FA Cup, and 6 League Cups. With 260 goals in 390 games, he is the club's all-time leading scorer. In 2014 and 2015, Aguero was awarded Manchester City's Player of the Year. Sergio Aguero had a huge impact on Manchester City. He was the club's major goal scorer, and his speed, movement, and finishing ability made him one of the world's deadliest strikers. With 26 goals in the 2014-15 season, he won the Premier League Golden Boot, and he had scored 20 or more goals in 5 prior seasons. In the 2011-12 season, he scored the game-winning goal in the final game to secure the club's first Premier League title, and he scored 5 goals in a 6-1 win over Manchester United. From Sergio Aguero to Eric Brook surely blew our minds with their skills, right? Manchester City has a great basis for future success, thanks to strong leadership, wise investments, a focus on nurturing young players, cutting-edge technology and infrastructure, and a devoted fan base. Why don't you hit the subscribe button to get updated on more such videos in the future? Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and share it with your fellow Manchester City fans if you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.